Howdy folks, let's work on our overhead motion, our thoracic spine rotation, and our thoracic spine extension by releasing our lats with a foam roller. Now, this is one of my favorite foam rollers because not only is it pretty firm, it has these lovely little nodules that are really going to help me get into the lat muscle effectively. But if you don't have one of these, you can use any foam roller you have available to you. It's okay if it's shorter, like this one. Also totally okay if it's tall and longer, like some other ones. The key is you want something that's relatively firm. You don't want a super squishy foam roller. Now, let's go over where our lats are, because this is the main issue I see with people who do this exercise, spend valuable time trying to improve their lat tissue health, but they're not quite getting the results that their time investment should get them. The big problem is people don't respect the anatomy of the lats. What do I mean by that? I mean that if I raise my head, hand over my head, my lat goes all the way from my shoulder all the way back and around pretty much to my hip bone here in the back. Now, the key is we don't need to work on the entirety of the lat, especially when it crosses behind the ribs and actually gets towards my spine. But it is super key for me to work all of this tissue pretty much from my shoulder blade up to about my armpit. If you're missing spots in this area, you're going to continue to have restrictions in your overhead movement, your trunk rotation, and your trunk extension. So let's grab our foam roller. We're going to lay kind of on our side, but also a little bit on our back so that we can find that lat tissue and start to work on it. So I'm going to get into position here. I personally like to start at the top. So notice how the foam roller is really wedged up into the top of my armpit. This is a great place to start. Now I'm going to roll at first to find a tender spot, but you might have seen me wince. I found one. And instead of continuing to roll up and down, I'm going to just hang out on this muscle and try to breathe for about 30 to 60 seconds. Now, another key I will tell people is it's important to try to keep your neck as relaxed as possible. Remember, if you are tense, your body is going to reject this relaxing input. It's going to say, nope, we're too tense. This is not comfortable. I'm not going to want to calm down. So big, deep breaths, as well as a little neck support, go a long way. I could either use my down hand, or I can kind of use my top hand to support my neck up. There's a nice tender spot. If I really want to dig in there, I can make little arm circles. That's really tender. Okay, I could do little arm rotations. And after about 30 seconds, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lean up a little bit. I'm going to lean a little bit more on my back than on my side to wrap around like the lat does. Now, I don't have as much of a tender spot here. If I did, I would hang on it, make some little arm circles, do some rotations. That's a little tender, right? And then again, move that foam roller down, open my chest up towards the ceiling a little bit. There's a great spot. Little arm circles. Neck might be a little tense, so I'm just going to help hold it with my other hand. And we're feeling great. So again, I might do one more time down and kind of open my chest up and back to try to get that bottom part of the lat before it wraps around my rib cage towards my spine. Really don't feel a whole lot here, so I'm going to call it good on this right side. But notice how I worked on probably 4 distinct areas of that muscle. The first mistake, again, is people are just working on one spot in the lats. They're not respecting that this is one of the largest muscles in our body. You need to work on multiple parts of this muscle if you're going to get results. The second, notice how I wasn't rolling up and down the foam roller, okay? Again, we're not flopping around like a fish. We're going to find that trigger point, find that tender muscle knot, and we're going to hang out on it 30 to 60 seconds of intense but tolerable pressure so that we get that muscle to relax, that tissue to heal up, and we can improve our range of motion.